Hello everybody, what's going on? This is Andrew, and welcome to part 2 of my attempt at a Region-Locke, where I play through a Hardcore Nuzlocke of every mainline Pokemon region. Part 1, I did Pokemon Emerald, and you can find the video here, and this is part 2. I'll be using pretty standard Hardcore Nuzlocke rules, but you can find a full description in the comments below. Let's go ahead and get started. Upon arriving in Pallet Town, I meet Professor Oak, who insists that I take one of his starter Pokemon with me as I begin my journey. I take Squirtle, the water turtle Pokemon, and one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Iron Man the Squirtle joins my team, and immediately my brother Aeron challenges me to a battle. He also came to Kanto to complete his own kind of journey, and instead of taking one of Professor Oak's Pokemon, he just uses his ace Girafarig in battle. Now, this battle was never going to be close, because Girafarig is so much stronger than Squirtle, so I'm letting Squirtle come back to life this one time because Aeron basically cheated in this battle. Once I'm able to get to a Pokemon Center and access a PC, I can find all of my Pokemon that Professor Birch from Hoenn sent over for me. However, something weird happened when they were sent over and they all ended up at level 1, so I have to train them up from scratch, but I'm really excited to have my champion team here with me. Now my journey can really, truly begin. Let's get to it. On the way to the first gym in Pewter City, I catch some Pokemon and battle some trainers, but it's not that interesting, so I'll just skip to the Brock battle. But even calling the Brock battle interesting is a bit of a misnomer. I have a Squirtle with Water Gun, and so this battle is really trivial. I use a Withdraw once, just in case Squirtle can't take an attack, but it doesn't matter, because all Brock does is also use Defense Scroll, and then I use 2 Water Guns and Brock's Pokemon Faint. That's it, a very easy gym badge for Squirtle. In Mount Moon, I was training WarMachine when I ran into Super Nerd Joven, who leads with his own Magnemite. Now, Magnemite has an ability called Magnet Pull, which traps other Steel-type Pokemon, meaning I can't switch WarMachine out to Falcon like I want to. So WarMachine has to go back and forth with this Magnemite and actually almost dies here. This is scary and a bit of a PSA to everybody to check your abilities before going into battles that you're maybe not as prepared for as you thought you were. Luckily, I get to follow this close call with some good news, as Iron Man and Falcon both reach level 16 and evolve into Wartortle and Combusken. This is a great power-up for my team, and I'm really excited to use these middle stage evolutions. After finally making it out of Mount Moon, I run into these 2 martial artists, who teach Falcon and Iron Man Mega Punch and Mega Kick respectively. And both of these moves are going to be really important soon. Just as I'm about to go north onto Nugget Bridge, Aeron stops me and challenges me to a battle. Okay, fine. He leads with Zubat, and I lead with Maria. Rock Tomb doesn't quite take it out, and Zubat hits a Supersonic. Now Maria is confused and takes some damage, but eventually hits a Tackle to take out the Zubat. Then he sends out his Oddish, so I switch to Falcon, who takes very little damage, and even though Falcon gets paralyzed, takes out the Oddish with 2 Embers. Next is the thing I'm worried about, Aeron's Girafarig, his ace. I switch to WarMachine, who instantly gets confused by a confusion. Bad luck. Then I miss a Supersonic before landing a second one, but WarMachine's taking a lot of damage every hit. I hit 2 Metal Sounds to weaken the Girafarig before I have to switch WarMachine out. I go to Iron Man, who's the only Pokemon left with enough health to be useful here. Iron Man's Water Gun does a lot of damage, but now I need to dodge a crit, and a confusion, and maybe hope Girafarig doesn't high roll. But I luck out, Iron Man survives on just 4 HP and gets his revenge on Girafarig. Aeron's final Pokemon is a Geodude, who Iron Man outspeeds and KOs with Water Gun. Wow, Aeron almost destroyed all of my Pokemon there. That was bad. North of Cerulean, I run into a wild Oddish, which I can't catch because an Oddish died back in Hoenn. But it reminds me that my actions have consequences because this Oddish would be a really great addition to my team right before the Water Gym later. Too bad. I need to be much more careful. Next up is the battle with Misty. She leads Staryu and I lead WarMachine. WarMachine easily takes out Staryu after it just goes for a Harden. Nice job, WarMachine. Then I switch to Iron Man as Misty Starmie goes for a Water Pulse. Iron Man learned Bite while training, which is a super effective special attack in this game because the physical special split hasn't happened yet. So it can use Bite, which is super effective against Starmie, which is now a Psychic type, while not taking a ton of damage from Starmie thanks to the water resistance and its high defense from any of Starmie's physical attacks. And in 3 hits, we won the battle. After that, I need to help Bill, a technological genius who created the PC system, who has somehow accidentally spliced his DNA with the Pokemon's? Weird. I don't know what you were trying to do there, Bill. Anyways, he gives me the SSN ticket as thanks for my helping him click a button on his computer. And so now we can head to Vermilion City and crash a fancy boat party. Right before I boarded the SSN, I decided to catch a Diglett in nearby Diglett's cave. Diglett's a fast ground-type Pokemon that knows a ground-type attack right now, which could be really nice for the next gym, which is an electric-type gym. But not 2 seconds later, I'm training Diglett, and he gets hit by a crit and dies. Oops. Sorry, dum-dum. On my way to visit the captain of this marvelous boat, I run into Aeron. He challenges me to a battle, and so I lead with Magnemite against his Golbat. After missing the KO on the first turn, Aeron withdraws Golbat and sends out Geodude, which is immune to the incoming Thunder Shock. What a play! I follow suit on the following turn and switch into Iron Man, who takes care of the Geodude with a water gun. Then, Aeron sends out Oddish, who has the type advantage against Iron Man, so I switch into Falcon. Falcon finishes off Oddish, even though he got paralyzed in the process. For his ace, Girafarig, I switch to WarMachine like I've done before, who resists Girafarig's strong psychic attacks. I confuse, paralyze, and lower the special defense with Metal Sound of Girafarig before switching into Iron Man, who once again takes advantage of the physical special split not being implemented yet and can use Bite against the Girafarig's lowered special defense and knock it out in one hit. After Girafarig goes down, Aeron sends out his Yellow Health Golbat, and since Iron Man is still healthy, I stay in and knock it out over the course of a few turns. These battles with Aeron have been close so far, but have managed to escape every battle by the skin of my teeth. After spending the rest of the afternoon rummaging through people's rooms and taking what I wanted, and then rubbing the captain's back, I was ready to leave the SSN behind me and get ready for Lieutenant Surge. Good riddance. Now, it might be easy to take a look at my team right now and figure that this must be a pretty easy gym. You have a Phanpy after all. Phanpy's a ground-type Pokemon that must know some good ground-type attacks, right? Right? Well, not right. I was so torn up about Dum Dum's death because this little Diglett knew magnitude. Phanpy, adorable as it might be, doesn't learn a single ground-type attack by level up. In fact, these are the attacks that Phanpy learns by level up, none of which are ground-type and none of which are particularly interesting for this part of the game. So, unfortunately, even though Phanpy is a solid ground-type and seems like it would be an easy choice for the gym, I had to go with a completely different strategy because this adorable little thing doesn't actually know any ground moves. So here's what I came up with. I used the TM for Dig to teach Falcon how to dig underground. This way I could take advantage of Falcon's high attack stat and one-hit KO both the Voltorb and the Pikachu with Dig. And thanks to a held Cherry Berry, Falcon shrugged off Pikachu's static to move on to Raichu unparalyzed. Unfortunately, Raichu's faster than Falcon and can start setting up double teams immediately, which means it gets to set off 2 double teams before Dig even tries to connect, and Falcon misses its first Dig. This looks bad. Now Falcon has to hit at least 2 attacks because I don't think a Dig's gonna one-hit KO, but Falcon comes through and hits a Dig, followed up immediately by an Ember to win us the battle. That could have been really bad because I would have had to switch Falcon out after that turn, and I'm not sure exactly what my plan was from there, but Falcon saved us from having to figure things out on the fly. After Surge, I head back to Cerulean and then go east, towards Rock Tunnel. Here, I get to show off my handy-dandy glow-in-the-dark Meowth, which will light the way through this dark tunnel, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm planning for my team. You can see that I've added Spoink, Billy, back to the team in place of the Rattata that I never used anyways. I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my team, but these 5 members, not the Meowth, the other 5, are going to be the core of my team moving forward, while I figure out what to do with that 6th slot on my team. I make it out of Rock Tunnel just fine, Iron Man does a lot of the work, gets right up next to the next level cap, but should be okay, and even if he does overlevel, I won't need him for the next gym. Since Billy's still behind the level cap, I fight every trainer between Vermilion and Celadon. This trainer has a Vulpix, which I didn't know knows the attack Roar. Of course, Vulpix uses Roar, and of course, Iron Man gets dragged out, which means that Iron Man's going to gain experience after this battle, which means he will level to level 30 and will not be available for the gym battle against Erika. Which is too bad, but again, I wouldn't want to use Iron Man against Erika unless everything was going terribly, terribly wrong. After training Billy up to the level cap, it was time to face Erika. My plan for her was pretty straightforward. Brute force the battle with Falcon and Billy using super effective attacks. I lead with Falcon against her Victory Bell, who goes down in 2 embers after paralyzing Falcon. Tangela sets up Ingrain, while Falcon gets paralyzed, but then only does a small amount of damage with Constrict while Ember gets the 1-hit. Then I switch to WarMachine because I'm a little bit worried about a crit Acid from Vileplume. especially since Falcon is paralyzed. So I paralyze, confuse, and then paralyze Vileplume again before I get hit by a crit Giga Drain and have to switch. Luckily, Billy survives an attack and is able to one-hit KO the Stinky Plant, earning me my 4th gym badge. After the battle, I decided to focus on training Maria because I didn't train her up before the gym because she would have been useless during the gym battle. She reaches level 25 and evolves into Donphan. Right after she evolves, I head back to Rock Tunnel, where this guy can teach a Pokemon Rock Slide. I'm happy to have Maria learn this powerful rock attack. Now, I have a decision to make, because there are a couple of different encounters available in Celadon City. The first option is to wait until I get Surf or the Super Rod, and try to get a Grimer or Coughing in this guy's pond. I could use the Species Clause to basically guarantee one of these 2 poison types. The second option is to go gambling and then buy a Pokemon from the game corner. There's definitely some good options here. Third option is to take the Gift Eevee in the back of the condominiums. I decided to go for Eevee because I think Eevee's pretty neat, and Vaporeon is one of my favorite Pokemon. It could also be useful to have another special attacker that can learn ice moves to take on Lance later on. So I'm really excited about this Eevee. Cool. After I take out my frustration by beating up Giovanni, I head back to Lavender Town to bury my new friend. In the tower, Aeron shows up and challenges me to a battle. I lead with WarMachine against Aeron's Golbat. Bite just does a little damage, and then Spark can take out Golbat in just 1 hit. Next, Aeron sends out his new Slugma, forcing me to switch into Iron Man. A single water pulse drowns the little Magma Slug. Trying to get the type advantage back, Aeron sends out Gloom next, while Iron Man falls asleep thanks to Slugma's yawn. So I switch into Falcon, who just gets hit by a Sweet Scent and then lands a critical hit with Ember, knocking Gloom out. This brings out Aeron's ace, Giraffe Rig, so I do what I usually do and switch back to WarMachine. I hit him with a Thunder Wave, and then Supersonic to stop him from attacking, and then with a Metal Sound to lower his special defense. Then, a single Spark is enough for a knockout. Aeron's last Pokemon is a Gulpin, and knowing that the Poison type can't do much to me, I stay out with WarMachine, who knocks it out with Spark over 2 turns. Pokemon Tower gives me a great place to train, as the Ghastlies give special attack EVs, which a lot of my team actually use. While training, Billy reaches level 32 and evolves into Grumpig, and WarMachine reaches level 30 and evolves into Magneton. Next, it's up to me, a young boy with some Pokemon, to take out a major criminal organization who's taken over Silphco, a major company in Saffron City. Silphco has really good training, because there's lots of rockets here, and they have some good Pokemon that give good experience, but it's also terrifying because there's lots of Voltorbs, Electrodes, Coughings, and Wheezings, all of which know self-destruct, and after watching Eevee die to a self-destruct and Coughing, my heart stops a little bit every time I see used self-destruct pop up. But I'm able to get through this with mostly no problems. While beating up the bad guys, Falcon evolves into Blaziken, and Iron Man evolves into Blastoise. It's really nice to have these final stage starters on the team as I move into the 5th and 6th gyms. Now that I've cleared out Silphco and finished my training, I have 3 options. I can take on Koga first, the rival at the end of Silphco first, or Sabrina first. I decided to go for Koga first. Magneton is going to make his poison type attacks do basically nothing, so I think leading WarMachine and just seeing how the battle goes is going to be pretty good. So that's what I do. I lead Magneton, who is immune to poison attacks, and is really good in case one of the Coughings decides to blow up. It ends up being easier than that though, as Spark just one-shots the first Coughing before Muck comes in. Muck uses Minimize and then starts setting up Acid Armors to increase its defense. So I get a plan. Instead of finishing it off with Magneton, I switch to Billy, and then Billy uses Psych Up, which copies all stat changes made by the opponent. That means that Billy is now at +4 defense and +1 evasion. Neat. Thanks, Muck. Muck then misses a Toxic, and Billy can actually outspeed and one-hit KO the rest of Koga's team pretty easily. But just in case that didn't happen, I had the +4 defense and +1 evasion as a backup. And there's another really easy gym badge. Later, Koga. After destroying Koga, my team is pretty strong and I'm feeling pretty good, so I decided to take on Aeron at the end of Silphco next. He doesn't make this battle easy though, as he leads Crobat against WarMachine. WarMachine should have a good matchup here, but Crobat confuses Magneton on the first turn and WarMachine hits itself. Then Crobat uses Bite, which gets a crit and a flinch. The next turn WarMachine hits itself again before finally breaking through and landing a Spark, which doesn't knock out the Crobat. Then WarMachine flinches 2 more times in a row and Crobat hits another crit before WarMachine can finally take down this annoying bat. I cannot believe I almost lost Magneton to a Crobat. Then I switch to Iron Man on Slugma's Ember, which of course gets the burn, but Iron Man still drowns the little slug. Now I have to switch again, so I go into Falcon, who misses a Blaze Kick, then hits the second one, which doesn't get the KO. The next hit does though, and that's Vileplume defeated. Now I have to switch into Billy for Girafarig, so Billy confuses the horse on the first turn and then starts attacking with Psychic. Billy's taking some damage, and I use Psych Up to copy its agility so that Billy's faster again, before surviving a stomp and taking out the Girafarig. Aeron's Swalot is his only Pokemon left, who is now an easy one-shot for Billy. Since WarMachine had a tough time knocking out the Crobat, I decided to go and look for the Thunderbolt TM, which I thought was in the power plant. Instead, all I find is this dumb-looking bird, so I move on and go face Sabrina. For the battle against Sabrina, the fact that the physical special split hasn't happened yet is still a good thing for me. Bite is still a special move, which means that Blastoise, with its slightly higher special attack than physical attack, and its high bulk, is just a beast in this battle. I lead Iron Man, who just barely misses out on the one-shot against Kadabra. Luckily, I do get the flinch though, and so when Sabrina heals the next turn, I can just click Bite again, and this time I get a higher roll and knock out the Kadabra. Mr. Mime doesn't do anything and just goes down in 2 bites. Venomoth gets hit by a Surf, misses Supersonic, and then goes down to a second Surf. And finally, Sabrina's ace, Alakazam, sets up a Future Sight, but then takes over half damage from a bite. So after it hits a Psychic, which deals just under half, a second bite just takes it out. Way to go Iron Man, just soloing the 6th gym. With Koga and Sabrina's badges in hand, and Surf, and the Super Rod, the world really opens up for me. I caught a bunch of Water-type Pokemon, I went and revived an ancient Pokemon from a fossil, I dug up some apples in the ground that Snorlax hid and didn't finish, and then I rummaged for items in an old abandoned mansion. After all of the chores were done, it was about time to take on Blaine. But before I do, I want to introduce you all to Spectre the Doduo, who's been in my party for the last little bit. Spectre has been great at flying me around and taking me places where I want to go, and even though he doesn't see a lot of battle, he's a very valuable member of the team, and I wanted to draw attention to him. Thank you for all your hard work, Spectre. Now, if you enjoyed watching the previous gym battle, you're really going to love this one, because, believe it or not, Iron Man, with its high special attack and the move Surf, can just destroy Blaine, the Fire-type gym leader. It's really crazy. All I have to do is click Surf 4 times, and then that's it. That's the battle. Blaine's done. Iron Man has done it again. Genius. Really though, Blaine's really easy. With any Water-type Pokemon that knows Surf, you can just use Surf a bunch. It's really easy. Blaine's done. That's 7 badges under my belt. Next up is the elusive Viridian City Gym Leader. Now, if you enjoyed watching the previous gym battle, you're really going to love this one. Because, believe it or not, Iron Man, with its high special attack and the move Surf, can just annihilate Giovanni, the Ground-type gym leader. It's really crazy. All I have to do is click Surf 5 times, and then that's it. That's the battle. Giovanni's defeated. Iron Man has done it again. Genius. Really though, Giovanni's really easy. With any Water-type Pokemon that knows Surf, you can just use Surf a bunch. It's really easy. Giovanni's defeated. That's all 8 badges under my belt. With Giovanni defeated, the only thing that stands in the way of me becoming champion is the Elite Four, so I'm going to go do some final preparation and then move on to Victory Road. But before I even get a chance to start my final preparation, Aeron shows up out of nowhere and challenges me to one more battle. Okay, let's do this. I lead WarMachine against his Crobat. This time, Spark is enough for the one-shot. No annoying Crobat strats this time. Next, I switch to Iron Man on my Cargo, but it just goes for Harden, so a Surf is enough for the one-shot. Then Aeron sends out his Vileplume, so I have to switch again. I go into Falcon, who gets paralyzed by Stun Spore on the switch, and then takes some damage from Petal Dance before landing a Blaze Cake for the one-shot. Aeron sends out his ace, Girafarig, next. Girafarig has been a huge pain for parts of this run, but not today. Today I can switch to Iron Man, and 2 bites take down the horse easily. And the rest is easy too, as Swalot and Aeron's newest Pokemon, Shelgon, also just go down to Iron Man. Iron Man has great stats for this point in the game, and is really tough to take down, and he's been a beast recently. Now all that's left is to make it through Victory Road and run some errands before I take on the league. Only the strongest 4 trainers in the region stand between me and becoming champion of a second region, so I want to make sure I do my preparation right. I return to the Viridian City Gym, where I can talk to Giovanni, and then he leaves. But if I use the item finder on where he was standing, I get the Macho Brace, which makes training your effort values twice as efficient. With this item in tow, I can head back out to do some training. I also spend some time buying TMs and hunting down TMs to finish off my movesets before going on to the league. I teach Billy Calm Mind, I teach Iron Man Ice Beam, I teach WarMachine Thunder, Thunderbolt, and Rain Dance, and all this time I'm trying to figure out who I should bring as my 6th party member. The 5 that I've been using for most of this playthrough have been really great, but I'm just not sure what to do with the 6th slot. I don't know who I need or what I need help with. So here's actually what I decided to do. I bring Betty the Spearow. Here are my final movesets and stats going into the league. I have a good plan for all of the Elite Four members, and I didn't end up needing to fill that 6th slot. So Betty the Spearow's gonna come and spectate, and that lets me give Spectre the Doduo a early retirement so he doesn't end up in the line of fire. So thank you, Spectre. Betty, welcome to the team, and let's get into the battles. Up first is the Mistress of Ice herself, Lorelei. Since most of Lorelei's Pokemon are also water type, I'm going to rely on WarMachine for most of this battle. Magneton should be able to one-hit KO a lot of her Pokemon with Thunderbolt, and then I've got a plan to deal with Lapras. So I do lead WarMachine against her Dugong, and because I'm so overleveled at this point, Thunderbolt is an easy one-shot on the Dugong. Sorry, Sleepy Seal. Next, Lorelei sends out her Cloyster, who also just gets one-shot by Thunderbolt. WarMachine is right on track so far. Next, Slowbro comes out and it suffers the same fate as its teammates, getting one shot by Thunderbolt. But now Lorelei kind of goes off script a little bit. I expected her to send out Jinx next and just go in order, but no, she decides to go into Lapras next. I had wanted to use Rain Dance against Jinx so that Thunder would be a 100% accurate move and I could guarantee the one shot on Lapras. But no, I don't get to do that. So instead, I just paralyze Lapras while it hits a Surf for under half. Then, a Thunderbolt takes it to the red. Okay, that did a lot more than I expected. A second Surf luckily doesn't crit, but leaves WarMachine on just 20 HP. I attack as Lorelei heals, and a Thunderbolt takes it out. I guess I really high rolled there. Now I have to switch, so I go into Iron Man on an Ice Punch, and I get frozen. I stay in and just hope to thaw naturally with leftovers keeping me healthy. Eventually, I do thaw out and hit a critical hit bite, which just barely doesn't knock out the Jinx. And then I get frozen again. So, knowing that Lorelei's gonna heal, I switch to Falcon, who can take Jinx out with a Flamethrower. Well, that was not the cleanest first Elite Four battle, but I got through it, and hopefully it's not a sign of things to come. Even though I made it through Lorelei, I was feeling a little uneasy, so I just hoped that Bruno would cooperate. Luckily, Bruno sucks. And I have Billy, a very strong, relatively fast Psychic-type Pokemon who knows the attack Psychic. Psychic is very super effective versus all Bruno's Pokemon who happen to have very low special defense stats anyways, so Billy uses Psychic 5 times in this battle. Moving on. I don't know about you, but there are some Pokemon abilities that I can just never remember. Gyarados obviously has Intimidate, it's a very intimidating Pokemon. All of the starters have the Torrent or whatever that ability is called. That's easy to remember. Gengar though. Gengar stands on the ground but has the ability to levitate. So I waste my first turn in this battle using Earthquake against a Gengar who's very obviously standing on the ground. Next up for Agatha is Golbat, who lands a Confuse Ray. Luckily, I gave Maria a Person Berry before the battle so she can shrug off the confusion and hit a Rock Slide. Then Hidden Power Ghost takes down the Haunter, and Agatha's last Gengar goes down too after hitting a weak Shadow Ball. Now Maria's taken too much toxic damage to stay in, so I have to switch to Billy, gets hit by a crit Sludge Bomb, but luckily hangs on and then knocks out the Arbok with a Psychic. That was also a little harder than I expected it to be. Stupid Levitate. The last member of the Elite Four is Lance, the Dragon-type specialist. Lance can be scary with his powerful Dragon-type Pokemon and Dragon-like Pokemon, but I've got a good plan, and Iron Man and WarMachine are probably going to team up to make this battle pretty easy. I lead WarMachine, who can one-hit KO Gyarados with a 4-time super effective Thunderbolt, and then paralyze the subsequent Dragonair so that I can get a safe switch. I switch to Iron Man, who I taught Ice Beam beforehand, and can Ice Beam and take out both this Dragonair and the follow-up Dragonair. So far so good. Next, Dragonite comes out, and Iron Man doesn't quite have enough damage for the one-hit KO, but all it takes in return is a really weak Outrage. Now, since Lance is locked into Outrage, he can't heal, so a second Ice Beam can take out his Dragonite. Aerodactyl is last and actually survives an Ice Beam from Iron Man, and so when Lance heals, I switch to Surf to see if it does more damage than Ice Beam did, and it does, getting the knockout, taking down Lance, and crowning me champion. Or it would have if somebody hadn't beaten me here first. Obviously, you all know the story. Somebody beats me here before I can become champion. And this time it's my brother, Aeron, who defeated Lance just minutes before I showed up. So now I've got one last face-off against my brother to decide who really is champion of the Kanto region. Here we go. I lead WarMachine into Aeron's Crobat. I held Personberry shrugs off Crobat's Confuse Ray so Thunderbolt can take it out on the first turn. Sweet. Good start. Then I switch to Iron Man on Magcargo, who gets hit by a weak Flamethrower, and then can take out the Magcargo with Surf. Then Aeron sends out Girafarig, but I was expecting Vileplume here, so I'm a little confused. I Protect to scout his move, and it goes for Calm Mind. Yikes. I go for Bite next, and hope to get a flinch, but I don't, and I get hit with a massive Thunderbolt instead. A crit definitely would have killed. Ugh. Now I need to switch, so I go into WarMachine expecting another Thunderbolt. But Aeron just goes for a Psychic this turn, which does a lot of damage to WarMachine. I decide that the best thing to do now is to paralyze the Girafarig, and luckily it stays fully paralyzed. A Thunderbolt from WarMachine isn't enough to take it out on the next turn, and WarMachine gets taken really low. Aeron heals with the full restore, so I hit another attack while he heals. I can't stay in anymore though, so I switch to Billy, expecting Aeron to go for Psychic again, but he doesn't, he goes for Crunch, doing over half to Billy. Now, I don't think I have any option, so I go for a Confuse Ray and cross my fingers, but the Girafarig breaks through and kills Billy with another Crunch. Thanks for everything, Billy, I'm really sorry. Now I feel stuck. I'm not sure what to do, but then I remember that Girafarig is part Normal type. So I do a little bit of math and figure out that if Falcon does hit with a Sky Uppercut, he'll take out the Girafarig. So I send Falcon out and Sky Uppercut connects, knocking out the horse. Whew. Swallow comes out next and just barely survives an Earthquake so he can get off a Toxic on Falcon. Hoping for a better damage roll, I just Earthquake again here, but I definitely should have used Bulk Up because this Earthquake doesn't knock it out either. This time I do Bulk Up while Aeron heals, so the next Earthquake definitely takes it out, but Toxic has done a lot of damage at this point and I can't stand anymore. So when Aeron sends out Salamence last, I definitely have to switch. I go into Maria, whose Bulk should put her in a pretty good spot, but she gets paralyzed by Dragon Breath on the first turn, and then gets crit by Dragon Claw on the second turn, knocking her out. I'm sorry, Maria, you were so unlucky. My only hope now is to go into Iron Man and hope that he can survive an attack. I Protect to get some extra leftovers recovery, and then use Ice Beam. Salamence connects with Dragon Claw, but Iron Man survives and hits Ice Beam to take out the dragon. Lastly is Aeron's Vileplume, and I really don't want to risk damage from the Vileplume plus the toxic damage already on Falcon, so I decide I have to sacrifice Betty here to be able to get a safe switch into Falcon. So Betty the Spirit comes out, goes down, but then I can switch to the better bird Falcon, who can hit a flamethrower and win me the battle. Aeron made for a great champion and is a great Pokemon trainer, and that was a tough battle. But I was able to pull through and win. I've completed this Pokemon FireRed Hardcore Nuzlocke, the second leg in my Gen-Lock, but not without some losses. I said goodbye to the Pokemon that were lost, Maria, Betty, and Billy, but I celebrated the victory with Falcon, Iron Man, and WarMachine. This felt really good, and I'm already looking forward to my next adventure. I hear that the Sinnoh region is nice this time of year, and I wonder how strong their trainers are. I'll bring WarMachine, Iron Man, and Falcon with me, and we'll head off to explore Sinnoh. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this second part of my Generation Hardcore Nuzlocke. This was a blast. Pokemon FireRed is really nostalgic for me, and so I had a lot of fun playing through it again. I know that it's not the toughest game to Nuzlocke, but I made it hard for myself, that's for sure. Stick around, I'm doing Pokemon Platinum next, so look forward to that. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you next time.